Hey everyone, welcome to another Storytale Staging inside the Home Staging TV channel. I am super excited. Happy Friday, number one. Number two, this is going to be an amazing video that you're going to want to come back to time and time again because of the amazing guest that I have to share with you today. Okay, so she is a certified staging professional, interior decorating, and budding designer. She was named RESA's top 10 redesigner and is the expert guest on the television series Real Estate Simplified. Does anyone know who I'm talking about yet? She believes that beautiful spaces evoke emotion and strives to help her clients achieve their vision by creating beautiful spaces they will love for years to come. I love the fact that she has like vision inside her mission statement here. Please give a warm welcome to Kristyn Pereira. She is from Well Dressed Home out of Canada. Hey, Kristyn, how are you doing today?
Hey, Tori, I'm good. How are you?
Super excited that you're here and that we're actually talking about this. I remember doing a video on vignettes a while ago, and vignettes are really personal. And before we dive into that whole topic, first of all, talk about how you got started in home staging, because I love the fact that you have this family dynamic behind everything.
Yes. Okay. A little bit of a long story, but so my family and I have always worked together. My parents have always had an entrepreneurial spirit. We used to actually have a home decor and gift store probably about 15, 20 years ago. So I was always really involved in that. So home decor and, being involved in that was always something that we did. Unfortunately, that didn't last. We had a Home Sense open up outside of where we were. But my mom actually staged my grandmother's house, just kind of, trying to make it look a little bit younger, not understanding what she was doing. And the realtor, who was a family friend of ours, actually was the manager of a brokerage, and everything kind of took off from there. For her, fast forward 8 years later, I actually went to school for fashion, and I was doing personal styling and working in a high-end boutique. And that was always kind of my thing, was to get into fashion. And one day I was like, I think I could do this. And so I joined forces with my mom, which was, something that we had already done before. And, playing with colors and textures and proportions and things like that, it was really easy to transfer over. So I learned so much from my mom doing the CSP course. And it's been wild, but amazing. It's been really fun.
I know, and I have this family picture here of you guys.
Gosh. That was not the one I meant to share with you.
Oh, that's the one you shared. It's the perfect one.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, that's totally our dynamic.
So what are the roles inside of Well Dressed Home? Like what do each one of you guys do?
So my mom and I both have our own clients. So we're kind of running two different streams at the same time. So she has her clients and her stages, and I have mine, and we both take on our own decorating and design clients. And then my dad oversees the operations and the technical side and the warehouse and all of those bigger picture things that we don't have time to take care of. So he's always bossing us around, and we're always trying to boss him around, hence the
hand around the neck there. No, but I love the fact that you guys all work together. I'm sure they're super excited that you've decided to come on board, and that this has really become potentially a family business that will get passed down from generation to generation.
Yeah, I guess I'll need to have a baby soon.
Add that to the list.
Yeah, one more thing. My daycare in the warehouse here, so that I don't have to stop working and she can just be grandmother. It's already at the end.
I love that. Okay, so let's talk about this important topic of
Yes.
vignettes, because this is really the key when it comes to good home staging. I feel like it can also have one home staging company stand out amongst their competition. So tell us kind of how you use vignettes in your staging company.
Okay, so centerpieces and vignettes, I think, are really the thing that brings the whole space together. So playing with textures and different heights, and it's really a great way to be able to draw your eye around a room, but also to just have that kind of show-stopping photo. Like when you walk into, a beautiful living room and there's this gorgeous centerpiece on the table, really makes or breaks a space. So I'm going to show you guys.
And you actually shared, let me share with some photos that you shared with us. Ooh, I'm going to go to, wait, let me go to this one. Hold on, I need this screen. Get over here, screen. Okay, let's start with this amazing one. Can you explain, explain this staging and why you decided to use these materials?
Yeah, so this is, I guess, a modified Susie special, we call it. My mom has kind of a formula that we use all the time to put together our centerpieces. I'm going to show you guys after, but you'll see when you go through these that there is a lot of similarities to it, but just kind of a way to balance the eye, that it's drawing your eye up, that it flows nicely. This was actually a model suite that we did for a condo development. But, being able to really ground it with the tray and add height to it, and working in those colors as well that we use on the cushions. So this one, we had the purple flowers and there's the pink on the book. You can see that there's no artwork or anything behind there. So to bring in some color, but create, keeping the softness of the space in there.
I love it. It's almost like a luxurious, romantic type of a vignette style that you guys did for this one. And then, then you take this one, which is way more modern. And
yes.
So talk about this one a little bit too.
So this is actually, we did in the same building, which I didn't realize, but, this one is more geared to a younger audience. It's, we're playing with the black. It's a lot more contemporary. I love playing with different vases. Having, for the most part, you want to play in odd numbers, right? So a grouping of 3 vases is always really nice. Or you could do the same way. In the other photo, we had the 2 candle holders and the vase with the flowers were just switched out those 2 candles for 2 other vases. So it really is kind of the same idea, but a totally different look.
Yeah. And I love that. I mean, come on, from this to this, completely different look.
Yeah.
And those are both, so those are both some coffee table vignette ideas.
Yeah.
And then we have to the bathroom. And of course, we need vignettes in there too.
Yeah, of course we do.
So what is like your go-to accessory when it comes to a vignette in a bathroom?
An orchid, 100%. I love to use an orchid in the bathroom. These seashell balls are something that we use a lot too. We have different sizes of them, but having kind of a spa feel in your bathroom is really important, especially when you're staging, because I think for people to walk into a bathroom and to have that sense of relaxation and kind of hotel spa-like is super important. And, it's not the most practical, but also nothing really about what we do in staging is practical. It's about how it makes you feel. So, playing with orchids in the bathroom, I think orchids can grow in the bathroom anyway, right? If you wanted to try it at home. But it's just such an easy way to add height and a little bit of life and some softness into your bathroom.
Yeah. And I love orchids too, just the way like they drape over and create more of like, not a hard line, but a soft, feminine spa feeling line.
Totally.
But this is, I kind of have my bathroom. I don't know. Is your home staged? Like, is your home staged or is it not? Mine is staged.
My living room is, I would say yes. My bathroom is not staged. I will say my bathroom is probably the only place in my house that's not. My realtors actually are clients of ours who helped us buy the house, and they came over and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you staged your house." And I was like, "That's just what I know."
I staged to live in my house. I don't know. I mean, I like clean, simple things. Hey everyone, thank you guys so much for joining us live. If you have questions in regards to vignettes or different accessories that you can use in vignettes, please let us know in the comments. We'll be happy to take your questions. We're just going through some of the photos that Kristyn's provided in what she does in the Well Dressed Home .ca company that she has with her family. And so this, we're going back to coffee tables again. And I love this one too. Still, it's a little different, but tell us about this project.
So this is a staging project we did. So you can see again, it's really similar, playing with the same kind of formula of, you know, having the different heights to draw your eye up. We're playing with the blues and the greens that are in the art, as well as the golds, and really kind of bringing all the elements of the room together. And, you know, just having that little bit of a life element with the florals. I love to play with florals or greenery on a table. But to just add that layer of texture and, you know, yeah, again, bringing the room together and kind of that wow factor.
Yeah, and this one looks a little bit more formal compared to this one, which is a little bit more just, I feel like it's for more refreshing. Like I can almost breathe in here in this room.
Yes. Yeah. So this is like a totally different feel. This house, you know, with the exposed brick was a little bit more relaxed, a little more casual. So we wanted to, you know, show that in the centerpiece as well. So, you know, it's not as stuffy. We didn't do candles. We have the loosely draped prayer beads. Again, playing with the greenery and the ferns. We didn't do florals in here because it was geared more to a younger demographic. But you can see kind of the same idea of grouping those 3 vases together and then having something smaller in the base of the centerpiece. So whether it's coffee table books or it's a tray, there's always something to kind of ground it and bring the vignette together.
Yeah, and I talk about these beads for a second because they're really on trend right now.
Yes.
But you said prayer beads. So now,
oh my gosh,
like, well, isn't that religious and should we not use that? So touch on that.
Okay, I'm all over the beads right now. I think technically they're called prayer beads. I don't pray with them. I think that it's become more of a design trend. I think you can call them, or they can also be called bead garlands. I've also been heard them referred to as bead garlands, I guess. So you can call it that if you don't want to call them prayer beads. I don't feel any sort of way about it. I love the look of it and just kind of that relaxed, effortless look. It's like the difference between, I guess, you know, folding a throw on the table and kind of draping it, right? It's kind of a relaxed feel, or even to have them kind of draping out of a bowl on the tray, on the table, or you can wrap them around a vase. There's so many different fun things that you can do with it, but it just adds such a nice bit of texture.
Yeah, I think texture and just like a different, like again, that flowy type of piece, that flowy material, right? That is not as structured as the other elements that you're using. Hold on, we've got another one here, another coffee table one. Oh, I like this one too.
It's fun, right?
Yeah.
So again, you can see kind of same sort of elements where we're using the books to ground the the centerpiece, and then having those 3 pieces at different heights. So you can see that we're really using the same formula, but it's totally different looks all the time. So I'm going to show you a little bit after, but this is just like a really fun little candle holder from Struck Tube, but it just adds a bit of, it plays off the circles on the bowl, on the coffee table books. And then also you want to look at the shape of your table too, and the shape of your vignette of what you're going to put together, right? So this was a square, and the way that it was positioned where you walk into the room was on the angle, right? So I wanted to do something long so that that's what hits you right when you walk in because of the way that the sofas were positioned, so that you get this really nice shot.
Yeah, I mean, people in staging, and for all of my stager friends out there too, you guys know this, but it's all about the strategic planning and details of everything. And people just think we can throw furniture like into a room and call it a day. No, no, no.
No, no,
That's
no.
not our job. That's why you're paying us bucks, right?
Yeah. Yeah. We picked up a house today, and I think we had 2 truckloads full of stuff. And the homeowner came out and said, I really didn't think that you guys had a whole truckload full, let alone 2 of stuff in here. It just didn't feel like that to him because everything was, you know, just so lightly placed around. But, you know, there's so much that goes into that.
It does. Not even, and even behind the scenes of what you're not even seeing. Talk about this dining room centerpiece, because I feel like, I mean, I sometimes struggle with this, but I know a lot of people struggle with this. Like, what do you put on a dining table? And then, you know, do you put something on a formal dining table? Do you not? So talk about this space.
Okay. I'm all for centerpiece everywhere. So, you know, I think especially with the dining table, because there's so much symmetry to it, to kind of break it up a little bit in the center makes a huge difference. Because imagine there was nothing on here, there was just something really flat. It needs height and it needs dimension, because everything is so flat and square and rectangular, I guess. So this one was in a luxury property. So this is, you know, the extra centerpiece. But, you know, even if you wanted to do just the 2 vases together, or you could do a grouping of 3, here we have like a giant orchid, 2 vases. We have a stack of plates and a bowl, and then with a little silver object inside of it. But again, we're playing with those 3 different heights and then something smaller with it. So it's the same kind of idea and formula, but it's really drawing your eye up, and you can see how the orchid is kind of taking you up to the chandelier when you're looking at it. But I definitely love.
Yeah, it's taking you up to almost the candle pillars on the buffet, and even that picture over there, and just like broadening your eye out throughout the entire space.
Yeah. But, you know, even if it's for living, for at home, like I do like to do something a little bit more simple. So maybe it would just be like a grouping of 2 or 3 vases that are just easy to move out, or you put it on a tray, you know, something that you can just easily move. But I definitely think that dining room centerpieces are so important, and to have some height, but you also have to, I guess, keep in mind the height of the chandelier as well too, right? So this one was really high. Normally I like to have them a little bit lower. So we wanted to add a lot more height on the table.
Yeah. Now, are you a runner girl or no runner?
I am a no runner girl. Are you a runner girl?
No. I mean, I have a round table back here. So no runner girl.
I feel like runners have had their moment. And I don't think that it does anything for the space, I guess. It's like a tablecloth, right? But people don't use tablecloths so much anymore. I
definitely prefer a runner over a tablecloth.
Yes. No, I don't like to use runners, but, you know, to each their own.
Yeah, we have a question here from Carrie. Hey, Carrie, how are you doing? She's saying a centerpiece over a set table, and that's a really good question.
Okay, so I think that from what I've seen, and you know, these days we don't really do the full table setting anymore, because it is very formal. So you can see what we did here is we actually stacked up all the plates together. So it's the same kind of idea of, you know, entertaining and having the plates there ready for you, but it's not set out in a formal table setting as if, you know, the queen's coming over for dinner. I think things have gotten a lot more casual in that perspective in terms of dining rooms. And so I would say no for the table setting, but yes to a stack of plates.
Yes, I would agree too. I would say one other thing, if you're debating that, depending, you want to think about too who the actual buyer is and what the demographic is. So if you think those people, the potential buyer is going to be entertaining and having all of, these amazing luxurious parties, then yes, you might want to, but in most stagings, I would agree. I do not prefer a set table. Not only that, it can get really dusty if the house actually sits there, right?
Yeah, for sure. Another thing we do sometimes instead of the plates, which I didn't show you a picture of, is like maybe having a tray with some wine and some wine glasses and like a little bit of greenery and showing that kind of entertainment feeling that way. Again, making it a little bit more laid back and casual.
Yeah. Now, is this the dining room too?
It is a dining room with the same art that's behind me, actually. So again, this is just another casual kind of dining room option. Again, the grouping of 3 and having those different levels. So again, this is something that you could even have at home that's super easy to remove if you wanted to. It's not too high, but a little bit more contemporary than using the orchid.
And I love the fact that you put the green in there too, just to make it a little bit more organic in that all of that metal and the like the hard type surfaces there. That just brings a little bit of life into that area.
Yeah, for sure.
And we have one more bathroom picture here.
Yes.
I love this too, playing with the different textures and the heights.
Yeah. So like amber bottles have become a lot more popular now. What is that company that started the amber bottles? I can't think of it, but it's like super expensive soap. It's like $100 for a thing of soap. Anyway, so these amber bottles have gotten really popular. So we use those a lot. I think it just, especially in these white bathrooms, it just adds a little bit of depth and dimension. So playing with that and some soap and having, the towels and that plush feel, again, playing with these seashells that it gives kind of that spa feel. If you have the counter space, having a tray in the bathroom is also just like a whole other level of, it just feels more luxurious having the tray in there with all of your things together.
Yeah. And I love me a good tray too, because it just corrals it all, right? Yeah. I love these images. Thank you so much for sharing these. Now, though, guys, we even have a special treat for you too, because we're going to actually get our hands a little messy here, show you designing some vignettes. Carrie's saying super zen. She's like, I have stacked plates too on my dining table. Ha ha ha. Staged house. Thank you guys so much for thank you guys so much for checking in live. And if you're watching the replay, make sure you put in #replay as you're going through the comments. But we'd love to know what vignette questions you have, what you use. If you have questions in terms of what accessories to use, please let us know. So what do you want to show us now?
Okay. I want to show you guys, I'm going to teach you guys a little bit about the formula that we use to put together centerpieces and how you can easily do that for your own home or if you're staging a house. It's super easy to do, never been shown before while dressed home.
Love it. You guys are getting the behind the scenes.
Yes, coming to you from my warehouse. So let me take this apart. So I always start with some sort of base. So whether it's a tray or it's a coffee table, we want something that's going to ground your centerpiece. So most of the time we're using glass coffee tables. So it can tend to seem that the items are really floating on the space as well too. So a tray really helps with that. We love to use candles. So, I'm going to do like a really glam centerpiece for you. So we have 2 candlesticks here. So you can see we're using 2 different heights, which makes a huge difference. If these were the same height, you can see that kind of sits flat. And then I'm going to throw in a vase. Again, you want to make sure that your proportions are right too, so that this vase is proportionate to your tray and proportionate to your candles as well. Our floral arrangements, we always have grouped together so that we can just kind of pop them in here. And then just one little thing here. one little item just to bring the whole grouping together. So then you can see you go from the tray here to this, to the flower, to this candle, and then you're up to the art. So it's really just drawing your eye up here, and then all together we're super glam. So we're playing with that, you know, adding in some greenery and some life, but we're bringing in the black from the artwork as well, and having some reflective pieces. And don't be afraid to mix metals as well too. I think that's really fun to do. Sorry, Tori, you were coming back.
Yes. No. I love that. And I love the fact of mixing metals. I don't know. It's still a thing for me, especially in my house and when I'm designing spaces.
100%. I think you could drive yourself crazy if you try to only stick to one finish and one metal. And I think that it kind of adds a little bit more to it, you know, mixing the metals as opposed to it, you know, all being gold or all being silver. It's just a little bit more fun. Okay, so I'm going to show you now the same idea, but more of a casual look.
That's great. And I love how you showed too how your eye was being directed. And that's super important when you are staging homes, because that's what we do. We are directing the eye to the positive features and to the lifestyle.
Yep. Okay, so we've got this fun kind of wooden rattan tray. I'm going to use white candle holders. These ones are a little bit more vintagey, kind of rustic. I'm going to use those. I've got this vase with just one leaf in it, and add a little bit of gold there just to have something reflective. But you can see that we've used exactly the same formula, but they're two totally different looks.
Yes, I love that.
Okay,
that's awesome. I'm the girl on the left. I like the red.
You like this one? Yeah, yes. I'm moving towards this way too. I don't know if it's COVID or what's happened, but I've found that, you know, a lot of people are leaning more into that kind of casual, relaxed, natural feel. I don't know if maybe because we're spending so much more time in our houses now that we want a more kind of soft, organic feel in our houses of just, you know, calm, instead of the glam look. I mean, it is totally a look, and it's definitely around, and I think here to stay. But I'm definitely seeing a lot of people leaning more this way now.
We need something in our houses to match our yoga pants, right?
Right.
So this is what you would put on a coffee table or a dining room, or what? Where would you suggest this?
This is something we would put on a coffee table for sure. And I would say like more in a formal space, like a living room, as opposed to a family room. We usually do something more casual. So I can show you kind of what I was showing before. So instead of using the tray, sorry, all these things here, using a stack of coffee table books. I love playing with coffee table books. It's like such a great base to a centerpiece. And, you know, especially in a family room where you want it to be a little bit more casual, less formal.
Yes.
Okay. These are the same vases I showed you in the photo before. So we could even just do something like this.
Where do you guys find your coffee table books, right? Because they can be so expensive.
They can be so expensive. I found great coffee table books on Amazon, on, you know, even going to places like Salvation Army or Value Village. I've found amazing coffee table books in there. And, you know, these are two like nice, expensive ones, but normally I'll pick kind of a generic one, like one that looks nice, and then put your kind of expensive one on top. You don't have to have all designer books, and that's, you know, can get really expensive just to sit on the table. So definitely mixing them. I always look like the crazy person at Value Village because I'm shopping for books based on the cover and the colors of how it looks. I always get weird looks, but I've found some really good finds there, especially for, you know, for your bottom book where it doesn't have to be this designer thing. But there's always deals at like even at Indigo, you can find sales sometimes, but Amazon has been really good for coffee table books.
I love that. I know people have questions about that all the time. Like,
Yes.
why do I want to spend $30, $40 on a book?
I know, but spend it on one. And then, you know, even your older books, if you don't like the cover of it too, you can always just take them off. Or if the cover gets damaged, and then you can just use the inside of the book too. So that gives it a little bit more life.
Yeah.
Or if you don't like the cover of the color of the jacket, you can just use what's inside.
Love that tip. Okay, so this is a vignette that you would put in a family room.
Yeah, so like this is, you know, extra, a little bit luxury, but again, we're playing with this same kind of grouping of 3, and then we have our other grouping here just to bring down those levels. So you can see we're doing this same kind of wandering of the eye up to the centerpiece, or you can do something super simple. Something we do a lot too, of just like that.
Love
and that's
it.
Yeah, really simple and easy to do. You know, if you have a smaller coffee table, or, you know, maybe a lower end listing, something like that, this is always great to just add a little something, a little pop to your coffee table in the family room.
Yeah, maybe even like a console table too, or something.
Yeah,
well.
on a console, or like in your entranceway, you know, even doing something like this in your entry like that. And then, you know, that's somewhere people can put their business cards, or you put your keys or whatever it is. It's always a nice look too, but it's the same kind of idea of playing with those different levels.
So do you recommend, obviously, so for vignettes, there's a couple of different key things here, right? So materials, any type of materials, should there be some type of mimicking at some point? Do you say the more the merrier, like a variety of materials?
I wouldn't say the more the merrier. Like there is, you know, kind of a limit to that. We are staging. I would say if you're decorating, then, you know, you could have something elaborate, though it's not always super functional. But I would say, you know, 5 is usually like a good place to be. Even with the, you know, with the tray, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with the tray. So it creates a really nice grouping. So I would say like 3 or 5 is usually pretty good. You know, if we're getting into luxury properties, we might amp it up a little bit more, but I would say 5 is always like a pretty good number.
I love that. And then, where else was I going with this vignette question here? I'm having Friday brain. No, but okay. So it's the amount of the different like the different pieces that we use. It also is going to depend on where the room is, where the vignette is located, right? Determining on what it is we're going to be utilizing.
Yeah.
Do you always recommend like having an organic something in a vignette?
100%. So I always like to have, especially in a living room or a family room or something like that, having some sort of organic feeling of life, you know, some sort of greenery, whether you have florals or, you know, it's just a leaf or some greenery, I think really just adds a bit of softness and kind of a life element to the space. If you don't add in that extra element, can feel very cold and stark. So I think that definitely makes a huge difference.
I love that. Okay, what other vignettes do you have over there?
Okay. Yeah, I've got all
your little. And if you guys have questions out there as you're watching, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you. Are you guys enjoying the vignettes that Kristyn's putting together? Let us know in the comments below.
I feel like I'm on a cooking show where I'm like,
this is a great cooking show. I would be cooking with vignettes all day.
Cooking vignettes. Okay, we were talking dining room centerpieces. I'll show you this because I think that this was in here before. So again, playing with just like a grouping of 3. So here, playing with something like this, we're playing with, all round pieces, but you can see how they all kind of just, it finishes it off. You are getting that height. Oh, this is really close. And then, you can always add in floral if you want it to be like, you can see that this is a lot more contemporary and kind of that cold feeling that I was saying, just having empty vases, which is really great in some spaces. Or you can add in some florals and then it becomes, kind of more traditional, but it works and we're still playing with those heights, but just a really, really easy thing to do, just putting together the grouping.
Now, would you put that on a round dining table or would you put it on more of like a rectangle or square dining table? So do you like to mix and match the shapes or kind of play off of them?
I would say either. You could totally do either. I would say it would have to be a pretty big round table to do something like this. If it was a smaller table, I might just keep it to 2 things or just one kind of lavish piece.
Yeah.
But this would definitely be for, a bigger table, but it could definitely work on a round or a rectangular table for sure.
And I love the difference of just you adding those little florals versus it shown without it.
Yeah, for sure. But I think it just totally changes the whole feeling of it, right? So, if you're in a really modern space with lots of marble and clean lines, keeping to the clean lines like this, I think really works. But in a more traditional space, having that extra texture totally changes the whole look of it.
For sure. Okay, we're getting some questions here. Hey, Carol. Carol Clark asks, so how are you tying up your greenery right now? And then also, how do you select them?
How do we select greenery? So we have a whole greenery wall of all sorts of different stems. Because we use them a lot, we put them together in an arrangement. There's a whole science to floral arrangements. I think that's like a whole other episode, which is totally not my expertise, which is why I love having these kind of bunches. But you can see like we cut them to the height of the vase. For the most part, we're not using clear things. They're opaque, so you don't really see it. And then we just tie it together with tape. Okay. So they're just taped together. So it's super easy to just plop in from this vase to that vase and it's already ready, and it keeps it nice and tight so that you don't have to worry about, this flower being a little bit out of place or anything like that. You just have to kind of, fix up the leaves on it a little bit, but, it's ready to go. So this will go and fit in probably, 10 to 15 of our vases, or I might, just as I did in that one, I have this other arrangement too, and I just put them together to make something, way bigger. So we've got a whole bunch of different arrangements that we do, but they're just pre-ready, right? So that we're not putting together a floral arrangement and a centerpiece arrangement, and, the easier that this can go, the better.
That's definitely a good trick. I think that, most stagers will separate everything back out into their warehouses. And then it's like, okay, well, I got to grab this, or did you grab enough florals? Did you, so just having those already kind of set.
Yes.
It's like set it and forget it.
You can drive yourself crazy. I've spent way too much time putting together a floral arrangement. And I think that that's a whole other skill to be able to put together floral arrangements. So, this kind of makes it easy for anybody to do.
We'll have to get an episode like that on the show here.
Yeah, you'll have to get my mom on to do that. She's expert.
I know. I saw, like, you could see the bouquets where it's almost like leveled up, like they're what are they called? They're like scattered up. It's almost like, so they look bigger. I can't think of the word today.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, they're all not just like bunched there, they're actually placed perfectly and
yes.
then taped around.
Yes. It's very strategically placed.
Yes, and Carol's saying, that is my point. She's like, I love the arrangements. I love the combination of greenery plus flowers plus fruit. So we're going to have to give a shout out to Susie there.
Yes, for sure. Okay, so I also wanted to show you this dining room centerpiece with the stacked plates. So I think this is something similar to what I showed you in the photo. But so again, this is kind of our grouping of 3 here. I'll do it this way. And then I have this stack of plates. So I've got 2 different sizes of plates and then a couple bowls. And then again, this is kind of the same idea with I'll call it a bead garland, that it's just kind of draping and giving that kind of relaxed, inviting feel. It's kind of the same idea of, turning down a bed in a staging where it makes it feel more inviting and more comfortable.
Anything plush that we add to a staging, definitely.
Yeah. We just place in a little touch of gold there to just add in that extra element, because this looks a little bit flat, just to add that in so that it ties in with everything else. And then we've got, drama and height. And then, this would be for probably like an 8 to 10 seater table, where we've got this super luxurious piece, but it's, just an extension of what we were doing before with those 3 pieces.
I love that. I love that so much. And that you're still showcasing like, hey, this is for the dining room. So Selena is asking, which rooms do you recommend having a vignette in?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I might be vignette crazy, but I love a vignette in the coffee table, in the living room, in your dining room, in your entrance, in the bathroom. I'll do little vignettes on the dresser. I think when you place accessories, they have to be placed with purpose and with intention, right? So that it's giving a feeling to the room and really finishing it off. So, I'm never going to put just kind of one piece and walk away. I might put that and, a little ball with it. So, as soon as you start grouping things together, then that's a vignette, right? So it's just kind of putting those finishing touches on it and making it all come together. But I think wherever you're placing accessories, for the most part, unless it's just, a small little piece on a powder room or something like that, we're putting together vignettes kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely everywhere. And then not only that too, because a lot of homeowners, you see this mistake all the time, is that they're like, oh, well, my house is accessorized, right? And it's just like, well, if you just move the accessories a little bit closer, so you have that space for the eye to rest, it could make all the difference.
100%. Having little things everywhere, having on the end tables, on the coffee table, on the TV stand, on the console table, like, can be a lot, right? So it's okay to just, have some surfaces clear. Like if it's just a lamp on there, like that's okay if we're going to do something wow on the coffee table. So don't feel that there has to be something on every surface, but where you're going to do it, really do it.
Yeah. Selena says, great tips. Thank you, Selena, for joining us live. Deborah's saying, come to my house, Kristyn.
I would love to.
What else? What other questions do you guys have about vignettes? We're here for you. So if you have any questions in the next couple of minutes, let us know. Do you have any bathroom vignettes over there that you could share or no?
I do. And I have a little kitchen vignette for you too. Do you want to go bathroom?
Ooh.
Okay.
Bathroom and kitchen.
Kind of kept it simple here. So, something that we do, clear this out for you. Again, the orchid. You can tell I love orchids. I think for staging, it's just such an easy thing to do. One, because it's already done. You've got the pot, the branches are perfectly placed. It's white. It kind of just goes with everything. So definitely don't overdo it on the orchids, but it is for staging just the best. So
well, and it's such a versatile accessory too, that
yeah.
if you use it in a bathroom for that stage, maybe you can use it in a different room for the next stage.
Yeah, for sure. So we love these little seashell balls. I think it's just a really nice kind of spa-like.
I love those. Where did you get those? Trick question.
Yeah, I think we bought them wholesale somewhere. I honestly don't know, but I can let you know if people are interested.
Those are gorgeous.
Possibly from Can Floyd, but it is wholesale. But yeah, even just, something simple like that can be really cute in the bathroom.
Yeah, and that works so well because of all the different textures that you have inside of, because that's all white, right? So
yeah,
if you're going to stick with the one color palette, you need it to have the texture.
For sure. And, again, we're still playing with those 3 different levels, and with the orchid, with the leaves, and then it's drawing your eye up the same way. This can be really good too if you have a space like this with 2 mirrors. Sometimes if there's a gap, having an orchid in the middle is like a really great way to kind of fill that space. Another thing that we like to do is to add a little towel with it. One little trick I'll show you, if you guys can see, is we fold halfway in here to each other and then fold that. So then now it looks like you've got a stack of towels, but it really is just one.
And that's a hand towel?
Yeah, and that's a hand towel. So we could do something like that, or if you want to use, a little bar of soap, can be cute. You can even add that in. But that's just a really great grouping too. But we like to use the hand towel a lot.
I love that trick too, because then you're not using 2 accessories. You're using just one and making it look like 2.
Yes. Yeah. And it looks nice and plush too. So, folding towels like this, in the bathroom or in the laundry room, like having a stack of towel, you can do it with bath towels too. Or, if you have shelves that you need to put towels on, this is a really great way to save your towels. Yeah. And so even if you want to, my warehouse is a little bit empty. So,
Selena's just saying, I can never fold the bath towels correctly, so they look spa-like. we got the trick now.
We can do, a quick little thing, but I just fold it in thirds here lengthwise, if you guys can see. So I fold it the third way this way, a fold.
Wait, hold on. Let me delete her thing. Start over. Go ahead.
Okay, here's your hand towel. Towel folding 101. Okay. So you fold a third of the way in here and then the other third over so that it's really thin. And then all your corners are lining up here. And then you fold it. If you find the center of it, that's where you want to fold this half into so that both of your folds meet in the center. So you're like this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just pop that over again. So you can see here that those 2 inside pieces are on the inside, but you have a nice stack look in the front.
I love that.
Yeah. And so you can even play with, sponges or loofahs and things like that and kind of layer that up on the towel too. Can look really cute. And again, playing with, the different heights and proportions.
Jennifer, did you get that? She said, can you repeat the towel folding? I hope
God.
that. I love that idea. I'm gonna steal that trick. That needs to be a reel, Kristyn. You better put that on your. You better look. I'm giving you. You better put that on your Instagram.
I know. I've got all kinds of things. Okay. Do you want to do a little kitchen?
Sure. Does everybody want to see a kitchen vignette? We want to see a kitchen vignette. Sure.
Okay. So I've been playing a lot with cutting boards. I think is really popular right now. So, just again, we're layering. You can do it this way. However you want to do it. I find doing it under the cabinets, it's better to do it widthwise. And then again, just, adding in some bowls. I like it to be, stacked and a little bit messy. Again, kind of that relaxed feel. And then I'm going to throw the hand towel in here. It's the same kind of idea as we were doing before. I love playing with the artichoke. But you could do lemons, or if, you wanted to do kind of a gold paint accent in here too, you could do that. We always use green pots, and these are just from IKEA. Adding in some olive oils if you want to make it a little bit bigger, depending on the level of the property. But having something like this on the backsplash can be really nice. And then we also like to do things like this. Like we always like to put a cookbook in the corner. So having kind of a pretty cookbook on a stand with the pot and like this little muddler. This is from the dollar store tip. And this is also really cute together here. Or, even playing with the muddler with the bowl in here can be really nice as well. So all of these things group together really well. But I think those natural wood elements have become a lot more popular now. And again, these aren't expensive pieces, but look expensive once you put them together. This from the dollar store. This is IKEA. These are just, I think, HomeSense olive oils, but, giving that kind of inviting, undone, natural feel, and kind of the same idea as stacking the plates in your dining room of, all of this is out here. We're ready to entertain, kind of feel in your kitchen.
Whoops, hold on. I'm trying to make you bigger. Me, not big. I'm playing around over here. No, but I love that idea because, well, let's go back a second here with the kitchen, because most kitchens have decent countertop space. So how many vignettes do you think should be on a countertop?
So depending on the size of the kitchen, I would say if you're in a really small kitchen, I would just stick to one. Larger kitchens, if it's, a galleon we're wrapping around, I might do 2 or 3. But then, we have kind of one main moment. I might do a grouping like this, and then I might just have a cookbook and a pot over here, maybe like 2 other things over here. You definitely don't want to overdo it. But a kitchen is also a huge selling feature of the house, right? So you want to make sure that you dress that up as much as possible. And I think that the kitchens really often get overlooked. So, giving it that kind of luxury designer feel goes a long way.
And I think the fact too, like what you're saying, the kitchen it's got such a hardscape, is that we really need to bring in the vignettes at this point to really soften that whole room. Farah is asking, would you use other faux vegetables or fruit like lemons or limes, which I think you mentioned lemons.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So, I like to use the artichoke, but for sure using lemons or limes, pears we use sometimes too. And I think it also depends on the color of the greenery that you're bringing in, the artwork that you're bringing in, and what's going to tie that all together. Because if we're doing all kind of neutral things or a darker, something like this where there's blacks or it's a darker kitchen, having something like this is going to blend in a lot more nicely than having a pop of bright yellow can kind of make it feel like it's coming out of nowhere. So be careful with what fruit elements that you're playing with.
Well, and that's the question too, because, right, I mean, a lot of times, do you add these faux things, the faux food, or do you not? Is there a certain level, like after a listing that you, like a luxury listing, that you wouldn't then add that, or do you want to add something? What are your thoughts?
I think that it's kind of the great debate, right? Of like faux fruit, faux plants, right? Versus real. We use a lot of faux fruit. I think it's okay. I have used it in luxury listings, but it's about how you put it together, right? So I wouldn't just put a bowl full of lemons in a luxury listing, but I might put it on, a lower end property. So I think it's really in how you use it. We did a luxury listing. I wish I had a photo for you, but we did a tray on the counter and we did bottles with bowls, and it was kind of overflowing with lemons with glasses. And we did use faux lemons, but it looked luxurious the way that we put it together. So I think that you can make it look more high end if you want to, but it's all in the way that you use it.
Yeah, I think even if you did like a bowl of faux fruit and you had it on like a wooden tray like you have there and put, I don't know what they're actually called, but almost like that glass dome over top of it.
Yeah.
It makes it a little bit more luxurious.
For sure. Yeah. So I think there's different ways that you can play with it to make it work for what you're doing. But I'm definitely pro faux fruit.
Well, you don't want to be going back and...
Yeah, you never know how long that house is going to sit there. And especially for the luxury properties tend to take a little bit longer, right? So nobody's going in and checking on those lemons or the apples or whatever it is that you're using. And then what if they start to smell or get flies or, that's never a good thing. Yeah. So same thing with the plants, right? Like people are, some people don't like the faux plants, but they always look nice. They never not look nice. So
you want to make sure that you're getting the ones that look the most real, right?
For sure.
And that's going to be a Susie question when we have her in here. We're putting florals together. Yes. I love all these different vignettes that you put together. What is your favorite style? What's your favorite room to do vignettes in? Like, what is your go-to?
I definitely love doing a living room coffee table. I think that's definitely my go-to, or styling bookshelves and putting together like in the built-ins, doing vignettes in there. I feel you with the dining room. I've sometimes, it can be more challenging. Because, you do something beautiful in the living room and then, what are we doing in the dining room? And a lot of times they're right beside each other, right? So it's also that feeling of what's overkill. But 100%, I love putting together a living room centerpiece. That's definitely my go-to.
Now, another great debate question here in the staging industry is, so do you put vignettes on the bed? So will you do a tray and all of that, or are you guys, your company does not do that?
We don't
do that. Does it depend?
I have never done a vignette on the bed. I also love toss cushions. Maybe one day we can do a little warehouse look here, but I love to play with toss cushions. So I would rather have, 4 or 5 toss cushions on the bed. If it's a king bed, but to really dress that up and have layers and blankets and make that look really plush, than to put a hard piece on the bed itself. I think, again, kind of going with that hotel feel of, making people want to jump in, and it looks very cozy and inviting. And as soon as you put something hard on there, I feel like it kind of takes that away. So not something that we do, but I'm not opposed to it, I guess.
You could be opposed to it. That's fine.
I think I just said I was opposed to it and then said that I wasn't. So I'm going to say that I am.
We would love to know your thoughts in the audience, guys. Would you put a vignette on the bed or no? Let us know in the comments below. Any other vignette tips that you want to share with us? I know we've covered a lot.
We have covered a lot, but I think the biggest thing, which we said over and over, is just making sure that you're really playing with the different levels. Like, you never want things to be flat, right? And then I think that's where it kind of loses its magic. So, having 2 vases that are the same size or 2 candle holders that are the same size, you always want to have different levels. And I think that that's what really creates the most interest in a centerpiece or any sort of vignette that you're playing with, and making sure that the proportions of it are right.
Yeah. So let's go over those quick tips again. So various heights.
Yes.
You also mentioned different textures, right?
Yes. Yeah. And then also like drawing in the different colors that are in the room already so that it's kind of bringing it together into this one vignette. So if you're using blues in the room and, you know, you have a lot of whites and silvers, like add a little pop of blue in there, or add a little bit of green, or, you know, different colored flowers. If you're using pink in the room, maybe you want to put a pink flower in the vase. But, you know, making sure that all of your elements are coming together in this centerpiece.
Yes. Yeah. And then how many, I guess it would depend on what it is you're trying to actually set up, like where your vignette's going to go. How many pieces would you say is good for a vignette? 3s and 5s?
Three or 5, I would say, but you want to stay in odd numbers. So I would say 3 or 5. You know, sometimes you can do 2 if you're doing something really small. I think is nice just to bring something together, but I would say to be safe, 3 or 5 for sure.
3 or 5. Yep. So different color, different texture, different materials, and of course, making sure obviously that whatever accessories you're using correlate with the function of the room.
100%. 100%. Yeah. And the other thing we talked about was having a base for your centerpiece. So, you know, some sort of something to ground it. So whether it's a tray or it's coffee table books, some sort of base to, you know, keep it all together.
Yes, that is the most important step of all.
That's step one.
Yes, or else you just have a bunch of accessories hanging out everywhere.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and shedding light on this topic. I would love to see what your guys' thoughts are about this topic. If you have questions about vignettes, let us know in the comments below. We've got a couple of hard no's when it comes to vignettes on the bed. No vignettes on the bed. Here's another one from Carol. No. I love it. Yes, I would agree. It was something early on, I think, that the staging industry did, and even you know, you would find in model homes and things like that. But even if you just mimic some of the things that you were mentioning in hotel rooms, in model homes, when you're putting stagings together, that's kind of the way the trend is going now.
For sure. I mean, you know, trends are changing, and what homeowners are looking for are changing, and we have to change with it, right? So we can't, you know, if we do this 2 years from now, it might be saying something totally different, and we have to keep evolving and staying fresh with what people are looking for.
Yes. Jennifer saying, beautiful presentation. Thank you. And thank you so much, Kristyn, for joining me today and sharing this.
So much fun.
I love everyone who joined us live. Anyone who's checking out the replay, make sure that you share your comments below with the conversation. Tell us if you believe that there should be vignettes on the vignettes on the bed, if there should be faux fruit, no faux fruit. We talked about a lot today.
We did.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining. We'll be back here live next week, 4 p.m. Eastern. I hope you all have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you soon. Kristyn, stay right there. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you so much.